Hello, everyone, and happy Wednesday. We are back with another YouFit times EatLove Nutrition webinar. We had a crazy amount of increased signups between the last couple of days here, and I believe it probably has something to do with the topic of gut health and nutrition. So I'm just going to give it a couple more seconds here while we wait for the rest of our guests to arrive. I do want to run a couple polls in the meantime, though. So before we actually dive in here, I just want to learn about if you guys know about YouFit's in-house nutrition program with us. It's always an interesting question because I somehow get a very different audience every time we do these calls. So I like to gauge, where you are and if you've heard about the program. Some of you probably have access to it already. We'll talk about that in the next question. But just to kick us off, my name is Ale Zozos. I am a registered dietitian. I also run member success at EatLove, and I do our combined joint webinars with YouFit to teach the members about good nutrition habits, easy ways that you can get started, and then of course point you into the direction of how to get started with EatLove if you want more of the stuff that we're talking about with the accessibility and closing the gap of how to streamline your system at home, which is such an important question with lifestyle change in general. So I'd say it's about 60, 30, 60, 40% breakdown for 5 no's and 3 yeses. That's pretty standard, I would say. There's always a little bit of no's because there's a lot of you and only one of me. And this is the time that I get to speak to all of you once a month. So not surprised there. Next question is, what type of membership do you have with YouFit? Because some of you might already have access to this and might not be aware of it. So anyone that has a Premium Plus membership, that's the top tier, already has access to EatLove. You get an invite when you join or even upgrade to that membership. I believe it's $10 more a month than the premium, and you get EatLove access. You get, from what I remember, on-demand classes, HIT Plus classes, HIT Plus access, and then on-demand classes, and then of course EatLove access for a cool $10 extra a month. So definitely worth it if you like what we're talking about today and you want to be able to streamline that system at home. This will be the place to do it. So thank you guys for filling out some of those chats in polls. Also, if you just want to drop in the chat who you are, where you're tuning in from, I always am down for some intros. While you do that, I will get our slides ready and we will get ready for gut health. It's a great topic. Actually, I'm going to do one more poll just because I love this one. Actually, I'm going to change this poll around because I want to have it be, no, we'll share it as is. Okay. Did you know brain health starts in the gut? Or do you think brain health starts in the gut? About 50-50. Yeah. Brain health starts in the gut. It's a really weird way of thinking about it, but in this environment, it's gotten a lot of press over the last couple of years, and for good reason. Because if we are not supporting what we put in our body, our gut microbiota, which is the field is actually still in its infancy, we're not going to be able to support what's up here, and it can lead to a lot of chronic inflammation, chronic conditions, Alzheimer's, things like that, if we're not supporting what we're putting in our body. So it really is fully connected. And that's what we're really going to talk about today is your guide to gut health. With that, we have a couple of greetings from Tallahassee. Delia, nice to see you. Amazing. I bet it's super sunny. Fabulous. All right, so let's dive in. Your guide to gut health. We're going to learn about why it matters, how it contributes to overall health. We're going to learn the basics of the digestive system, so a little bit of a biology lesson with this presentation. Learn practical tips for improving your gut function, and of course, learn more about EatLove, YouFit's in-house nutrition program. I usually reserve about 5 minutes at the end to do a demo. If you can stay, wonderful. If not, you can get the recording after we wrap up. But let's dive in with what gut health is. It refers to the balance and the optimal functioning of the GI tract, which will shorten its very long gastrointestinal tract, GI tract for any time I reference that, including the stomach, the small intestine, and the large intestine, which is also known as the colon. It's the whole spectrum of it. It's not just our stomach. It's a very harmonious system living inside of us that we can't see, but it's there and it is working for us day in and day out to make sure that we are fueling our bodies correctly and that we can produce our output, whether that's just regular daily lifestyle, living, ADLs, and then of course your workouts and your performance that way. And why does it matter? So digestion and nutrition absorption, the gut plays a critical role in breaking down food and extracting nutrients and absorbing them into the bloodstream. So the healthy gut piece of that ensures that efficient digestion and absorption for overall well-being. Immune system and function, this is a big one. So our immune system, if we do not have a healthy gut, and we find, or maybe we don't know we have a healthy gut, but if we are always feeling sick, or we're always that person that is getting sick, it could be that our immune system is lacking, which that can stem from a lot of things. But our gut plays a significant role in our immune system. A healthy gut microbiome helps support that immune system. There's a lot of things that can disrupt it off the top of my head. Sleep is one of them, where we don't allow ourselves to properly rebuild what has been happening all day. If we are feeding our body the wrong types of food, we may not be supporting and lining that gut properly so that we are able to fight off those invaders, those essentially the invaders of when we are getting sick, of what those bacteria is. Mental and health and brain function. So this is that gut health brain axis. Emerging research suggests that there is a strong connection between gut and brain. The gut-brain axis. There's a couple of different words for it, names for it. Gut-brain connection, gut-brain axis. Just basically the top of your head down to your gut. That connection there, and it is in that healthy system. It has been linked to improved mood, cognition, and mental health and well-being. And why it matters, a couple more. Inflammation and disease, another big one. An imbalance in unhealthy gut can lead to chronic inflammation, which has been associated with a range of conditions such as IBD, obesity, diabetes, autoimmune conditions. So we want to maintain that pristine gut maintenance to reduce inflammation, to help us lower those risks of those chronic conditions and diseases, which could lead into larger things. Things like metabolic syndrome, which would be a combination of obesity, diabetes, another comorbidity, a BMI that is higher than, I believe, 30, 35. So there's a lot of things that go into that. And if you want to reduce your risk, having that gut balance is so critical. Digestive disorders and symptoms. So IBD and IBS are very different things. IBD is an autoinflammation condition. IBS is an irritable bowel syndrome. So it's less autoimmune focused, but still a digestive disorder. So don't confuse those two. They are very different things. One is known to low FODMAPs would be really supportive for IBS, but not so much for IBD. But just take that with a grain of salt and let me know if you have any questions on that piece of it. Celiac disease, GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease, that's GERD, can significantly impact your quality of life. So prioritizing gut health, individuals can manage and alleviate those symptoms with these disorders. So let's talk a little bit about the digestive system. I know this slide's a teeny bit small, but let's start at the very top of our mouth. So our mouth it's masticating, which is just the action of that chew that you are doing with food to break down into smaller pieces, mixed with saliva that contains enzymes, amylase, which is going to initiate the breakdown of our carbohydrates directly in our mouth. So that's going to continue down into our esophagus, which is this big, tall, giraffe-looking thing that goes from our mouth to our stomach. It's just like that drop from there, which is a muscular tube that transports food from the mouth to the stomach. Pretty straightforward. The stomach is where food is broken down further with acid and digestive enzymes. So I always like to throw in a bit here when we talk about waters and pHs and all of that nonsense. So what our stomach is doing, it is acidic environment. So when we eat something that is not acidic, our stomach is making it acidic the minute it touches our stomach. So those pH waters are complete nonsense. They don't do anything in terms of blood maintenance. If anything, it may change our urine pH levels, which we're just excreting from our bodies anyways. It has absolutely no health impact on us. So your stomach is going to basically kill everything that comes down there anyways, because it's such an acidic environment, and it's going to be mixing with those digestive enzymes. So if it's coming down as a basic, the scale is like 1 to 14, it's going to become very acidic the minute it enters that environment. Then we have our small intestine, which is the primary site for the majority of nutrient absorption, so back up into the bloodstream. Liver, another trendy topic here, is a vital organ that produces bile, which aids in digestion and absorption of fats. It also detoxifies, remember that word, harmful substances and stores nutrients. So when we always talk about liver detoxification and detoxing our liver, if you are alive and you have a functioning liver, your liver is detoxing itself and it is detoxing the rest of your body. So you do not need to buy into anything that claims it is detoxifying anything. If we are relying on outside things that we need to put in our bodies to do that, like that you buy off of some infomercial, or I guess influencers would be the popular way to buy things these days, we would not be living. We would not be alive, because that it just wouldn't make any sense. Your body is already doing that job for us, and that is why we are able to live and breathe on a daily basis. Next down, our gallbladder. It stores and releases bile produced by the liver into the small intestine to aid in fat digestion. Our pancreas produces digestive enzymes, amylase, lipase, and proteases that are released into the small intestine to break down carbohydrates, fats, and protein. So fat has a couple of ways to be broken down and absorbed, and then carbohydrates and fat and proteins in the pancreas. Large intestine, your colon receives the remaining undigested food and absorbs water, electrolytes, and vitamins produced by gut bacteria. Also houses beneficial bacteria that can help with the breakdown of certain fibers and production of vitamins. So that whole process is working over time. Every single thing we put in our body, it is going through that cycle every single time, which is really interesting to think about, because it's a system that is always there, it's always working, and we never really see it. We can definitely tell when something's wrong, like if we eat the wrong thing and we don't feel well. That's just a natural reaction to our body's got an overload of one nutrient. It needs to balance it out. And eventually we will get over that, as long as we don't have any other underlying chronic conditions that keep us in that state for a long period of time. So how do we improve our gut health? There's a lot of things that we can do tomorrow, actually after this call when we wrap up, to get started with. The first and foremost is to eat a balanced diet. And every webinar that we've done up until this point has some healthy tips and tricks that you can take away from it, with foods high in nutrients, vitamins, minerals, that promotes a diverse piece of variety. What's really great about this is, and I always use this as an example, because you can tell when your gut is not at its best. Let's say when your bowel schedule is not regular, if you feel like you're eating the same things on a daily basis, you're not giving your body a lot of diversity. Bodies like diversity because there's new nutrients, there's new food that your body is thriving off of via your gut, that it says, I didn't have that before, I have it now. So if I were to come in contact with something that would overtake this, a bacteria or whatnot, I have a protection against it. So you want to eat as many different foods as possible. EatLove is a great way to expand your horizons, especially if you are kind of a little bit, scared to get outside that comfort zone. And then variety and outside the comfort zone, you're not sure if it still meets your nutrition goals. We're going to work with that with you. So eat a balanced diet and eat one in a lot of variety, high variety. Hi, Tiffany. The slides will not be available, but the recording is available. It'll go out after our call today. So the slides in the call. Increase fiber intake. Fiber intake helps regulate bowel movements, supports growth and beneficial gut bacteria, aids in overall digestion. It is a perfect pairing to the next point, which is stay hydrated. So adequate fluids that are needed to maintain optimal digestion and prevent constipation. So I use this really gross metaphor for this. Imagine going down a water slide without any water on it. And that's essentially what it's like to intake fiber without enough fluids. So very uncomfortable. You will definitely feel that. So you want to make sure when you do increase your fiber intake to also increase your hydration at the same time. If you're not sure if you're getting enough hydration or getting enough fiber, there's reports on EatLove that can walk you through that by tracking your food for a couple of days and seeing what percentage you are based on your RDA. So for women, that's 25 grams a day. And for men, that's about 35, 36 grams a day, which it's a lot. And if you're not used to getting fruits, vegetables, whole grains, bean, legumes, nuts, seeds in your diet, you may not be getting enough fiber. And that's okay. We all have to start somewhere. We just have to work every single day to make that a little bit higher. So when you do figure out what those numbers are, how do you increase it? If you realize you're getting 12 grams of fiber a day, doubling that Overnight would be a very big task to do. You're going to be met with gastrointestinal pain from the influx of fiber, and I don't want that to discourage you. So what you would do in that case, if you find that your fiber is a little bit on the low side, is to increase it gradually. And what I mean by that is get one extra serving of fiber, whatever that's coming from. It can be fruits, vegetables, beans, legumes, nuts, or seeds. Get it like a minimum of 4 to 5 grams additional per day for the next 4 days, and then increase from there and let your gut adjust to that increase of fiber. But of course, make sure you're staying hydrated with that. The next one is limit processed foods. Processed foods often contain unhealthy additives, preservatives, artificial sweeteners that will disrupt a gut microbiome. So that's sort of our reaction to when we eat something that is a little bit higher in saturated fats and oils and greases, that is just an influx of too much at one time. Again, there's nothing wrong with that in moderation. But if you're doing that a lot of the time, it's going to really disrupt the barrier that's been planted already. And it doesn't take a lot to wipe that out. So just be mindful of that. If you're not feeling well after you're eating food, take a step back and understand what is in that food that could be making you feel this way. Another easy tip to do is to get fermented foods. These are like pickled things. So this picture is going to highlight a couple of those. It looks like we have some coleslaw, so we have pickles, pickled cucumbers, which I guess are pickles at a different state, pickled carrots. I think that's a pickled celery, but I'm not sure. So if you're a fan of pickling, pickles are great. Yogurts are another great fermented product. Kombucha, just super trendy. So if you're like someone that likes spritz but you don't like soda, kombucha is a great option for you. Sauerkraut, kefir, which would be that yogurt beverage, and you can drink that, which is really nice. So those types of things, fermented products. So lifestyle tips, we're not just going to focus on the food aspect of it, but we're going to focus on the overall managing stress, exercise, that piece of it as well. So chronic stress can negatively affect the gut. Chronic stress, of course, sleep quality that we talked about a little bit earlier. When you don't have the right time for that body to rebuild, it's rest time. It's not just rest because you're sleepy. It's rest because everything else in your body kind of has to reset and rebuild from the day that it had before. So both of those, sleep and stress, really go together. If you're not sleeping, you're going to be stressed. It goes hand in hand. If you're not sleeping, you're going to be stressed and you're not going to eat the way that you want to eat. So these three things as a triad, and then you throw exercising into that, it's a lot to keep maintained at once. So it's great to identify the barrier that's giving you the biggest issue and work there, and then add as you need to. Of course, exercise regularly. You're all here as members or prospective members of YouFit gyms. So take advantage of that. Physical activity can support healthy digestion to promote a diverse gut microbiome. Moving your body at all is going to be beneficial, but make sure that you're getting regularly activity scheduled. Limiting your antibiotic use. This is an interesting one that you may have experienced. Antibiotics can absolutely disrupt the balance of gut bacteria. It kind of wipes it out in full force. So use antibiotics only when necessary, but of course, follow your healthcare provider's instructions on those. If you've been recommended them for something very specific, of course, talk to your healthcare provider about that. But antibiotics is one of the quickest ways to completely remove whatever you built in your gut microbiota from that time before. So take that, again, with a grain of salt. Be very honest with your healthcare provider. See, what is going to be best for you in the moment. Of course, always go with your healthcare provider's instructions. And then also consider probiotic. If you are taking an antibiotic, probiotic is a great way to add to that. If needed, of course, consult with your healthcare professional about any potential benefits, of course, side effects for a probiotic supplement that can replenish and support the gut bacteria. And avoid smoking and excessive alcohol intake. These are givens. Both will negatively impact your gut health. So any questions on gut, overall gut, anything before we move on to Eat Love and the in-house nutrition program? You guys are quiet today. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the nutrition program. You can see on the right-hand side, we have some really wonderful foods that will benefit your gut. We have the kimchi omelet. Kimchi is a fermented food. Raspberry yogurt parfait. Yogurt is going to have probiotics. Chicory fennel and grape salad. Lots of beneficial pieces of fiber in that chicory and fennel. also grapes too, and then lentil tacos. Of course, lentil is a legume. It's going to have a lot of fiber. So all of these foods available on EatLove, available to you if you have that Premium Plus membership immediately. You can pull it up now and check it out. But what we are is personalized nutrition guidance 24/7 for every eating occasion based on your health and nutrition goals. Weight loss is your goal, managing diabetes, looking to reduce your high cholesterol, looking to manage your diabetes and lose weight. You can put all of that information into EatLove when you create your profile, and we are going to be able to recommend on-demand meals based on where you are in the world. It can be at home recipes that you cook in your kitchen, or yes, kitchen. It could be restaurant meals. We have over 127 popular North American chains, things like Starbucks, Chipotle, Chick-fil-A. So if you have any questions on what can I make fit in my plans that are beneficial to my overall health, but I am on the go right now and this is the best option I have, what do? We have an answer for you then. Ready-made meals and meal kits as well. So we can take the component of something that is prepared, like an Amy's frozen burrito, and pair it with a cup of spinach, with a orange, with a glass of milk to really balance out that plate. Not only that, we're going to be integrated with grocery integration, delivery. We have nutrition analysis. So this is where you would find your hydration and your fiber and any other nutrients that you're interested in learning more about your intake overall. And then our private Facebook community, which I don't think I have the link to today, but if you type in YouFit times EatLove on Facebook, our group should pop up. And then monthly webinars, which you are in right now. So I believe that is everything with that, but I do want to flip over for just a quick demo. We have a couple minutes here. So I want to show you what it looks like if you guys are interested in learning more. Very much like Spotify. Spotify playlist of meals is how I like to refer to it, because you can fast forward, you can rewind, you can favorite, you can repeat dishes, and it doesn't have to be what is listed here that you have to take action on. It's automated, it's ever flowing, and you only pick what you want to do that week. So if this case, this may be too involved for a lunch for many people, probably myself included. So I'm going to swap that with something else that is going to be a better option based on what I have in my pantry. So this white bean sandwich, tangerine mixed nut, perfect. I have all of those things at home. I have whole grain bread, I have canned beans, I have mixed nuts, and I always have a fruit. Doesn't have to be a tangerine. It can be anything. So it can help you, it can help guide you on choices based on what you have in your kitchen already. So really great options that way. Let's do a dinner and let's do a restaurant meal so that you can see this working in real time. We have Chick-fil-A. So all of these options in green are going to be a smart choice. They work with your nutrition prescription, and then you can learn why something's not a smart choice. It'll probably be over in sodium. By how much is up for debate. So this one's 10, the other one was 150, this one's 600. So there's a lot of education pieces that go into this. It's taking that nutrition prescription and saying, hey, we know you're on the go, but this will fit your nutrition prescription, and you can swap your meal like that, which is awesome. If you want to add everything to your grocery cart, you just hit the grocery cart, add up here. You can see your grocery list populate on demand. You can have your entire family have access to this. So if you're doing too much of the meal planning, the shopping, the cooking, the cleanup, distribute where you can, allocate, get your family of helpers in there to get them involved in this process. You can make mealtime family time again, which is, we focus very much on that family dynamic, because not one person can do it all. It's a full-time job. If one person is doing all of this work every single week on top of the job that they actually have, and top of managing the family. So have the entire family log in, have them add their own foods for the week. Take one list to the grocery store, change quantities if you want to, check off items that you already have. They can buy online, save yourself 2 hours a week. I do this every single week. It's wonderful. Never have to step foot in a grocery store. So if time is one of your barriers, delegate it where you can so that you have time to prepare those meals in the kitchen, which is going to be that lifestyle change piece of it. You can also just take the app to the grocery store. Once you sign up through YouFit, you will have access to download the app for Apple and Android users. And you can take it to the grocery store and just check it off as you go. It's like your checklist, but it's with you at all times in your pocket, and your family can use it as a universal list. When we look at the daily log piece of it, we can see our nutrition information working up here. And if downloading it from YouFit, you will also have the option to export your nutrition analysis. So you can track in more detail your hydration status and your fiber intake. So we can see that we're 11 grams under today, but we haven't finished logging the rest of our day. So we're going to hit this no problem. I can just confirm that I ate something like this, and we're at 33 grams already, and we haven't even had dinner. So we can keep a track, not just fiber, but any other nutrients that we want. Plus a nutrition analysis is going to give you a full comprehensive picture of everything that you would find on a nutrition label. You can also use the meal search to search for items based on a specific dish, avoidance, total ingredients, skill level, time to cook. At 7,200 plus recipes, we are the largest dietitian approved database around, and you can click on any of these and schedule them directly into your planner, into your meal feed. We pride ourselves on very easy recipes, very easy. There are more complicated recipes in the database, but as of recently, there's been hundreds of recipes added that are very simple, throw together. You can look at this and make really easy swaps. Like you could say, I don't have spinach, but I have red peppers. Cool, it's a vegetable for a vegetable. I don't have honeydew, but I have watermelon. I don't have honeydew, but I have a banana. So that sort of thing where you're swapping just one for one and using this as a framework to help you eat a balanced dish is very empowering. So I'm going to pause there and see if we have any questions before I let you all go today. And again, that YouFit times EatLove is for Facebook. I did not specify that in there. Thanks, Delia. Yeah, so YouFit times EatLove on Facebook for the Facebook group. Antoinette, it's a great question, and it's going to vary person to person. So there's a simple equation that you can do for that. Let's see if my dietetic brain is working right now. It is your weight in kilograms. So taking your weight, dividing by 2.2 to get kilograms. And the majority is like 25 to 30 milliliters. I'm really throwing some math at you guys. Because that's how they taught us in dietetic school, to do all of these things with milliliters and kilograms. And then you would multiply that to get your milliliter total, and then you can reduce that to liters. You can reduce it to cups, which would be the easiest. So let me just throw that equation in here. Weight divided by 2.2 kilograms times the range. It's a range. So I would say 25 to 30 for most of us on this call is a pretty good range. If you are a competitive athlete or a performance athlete or going to the gym a lot, or you have a high sweat rate, that number can change. But I would say for the majority of us, unless you have some chronic conditions, please, of course, get those recommendations from a healthcare provider. But if you're not managing any comorbidities and you guys are relatively healthy, 25, multiply that by 25 milliliters per kilogram gives you your ounces in milliliters. And then you will divide that by liters so that you can get like an actual, or to get an ounce level of it. So yeah, a little bit different for everybody, but as long as you're getting more than the day before, if you were under the limit, again, same thing with fiber. It's if you realize you're only drinking 3 cups a day, getting your recommendation, and if it's a lot higher than that, it's not going to happen overnight. So challenge yourself to have 1 cup extra the following day after that, until you meet your routine. What I do, some tips for getting hydration. I think I drink too much water if that's possible, but I always have this guy next to my desk. It's kind of like every time it's like hyperactivity. I just grab it whenever I feel like I need to move, but it's always staring at me. You can also start your day with a cup of water before your coffee. I know it's really hard, but that's a good one. Or even taking water to bed with you. I wake up so thirsty in the middle of the night, and I usually drink half of it at like 3 a.m. and then I drink the rest of it as soon as I wake up. Sort of like you're rehydrating yourself. You become like a nice little flower again when you wake up. And then I'm ready for my coffee with my breakfast, because that also is gut healthy when you are not drinking coffee on an empty stomach. Very acidic, can disrupt a lot of things. Doesn't really feel great. So coffee is always best with a meal as well. But thank you guys so much. You've been awesome today. Let me know. You can feel free to shoot me an email. Let me just throw that up in here. If you guys have any topic ideas for upcoming webinars, we're hitting the summer month soon, so we'll probably have a lot of fun ways to stay healthy and happy during the heat, staying hydrated, getting a lot of anti-inflammatory foods. I actually think our July webinar last year was our most attended, most registered, and we talked all about inflammation, anti-inflammatory foods. I was shocked. It's the middle of the summer. So you guys are still wanting to learn about these topics even when you have a lot going on. So I appreciate all of your time today. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.